Okay, so this is our second video on surds, and we're going to chat a little bit then about some of the rules of surds. So this is pretty much just taken from our textbook here, so it's on page 125, so we're just kind of looking through this. If you have the square root of a multiplied by the square root of a, that just gives you a. That's effectively what square root means anyway, if you think about it. Let's say we have the square root of 11 multiplied by the square root of 11. Rules of surds tell you that's the same as the square root of 121, which we know is 11 anyway. So that's our first rule of surds. Second rule of surds we've done before as well. We did it last day when we did a backwards version of it. If you have the square root of a number times the square root of a number, another number, that's the same then as the square root of those two numbers multiplied by each other. Seems a wee bit silly, but it will work then for any number. If you have the square root of 5 multiplied by the square root of 6, that's the same as the square root of 30. Again, if you put those numbers into your calculator, they would work out. The other one's quite similar to this one. Is for dividing. The square root of a divided by the square root of b is the same as the square root of a over b. So an example of that one would be the square root of 36 divided by the square root of 4. That's the same as square root of 36 over 4, and of course 36 over 4 we know is 9, and the square root of 9 we also know then would be 3. The other one worth that we mention is, say you have something like a root b plus c root b, that then is a plus c root b. This is a bit of an odd looking one, but it's a bit, let's go for it. Say we have 3 root 2 plus 8 root 2. It's a bit like 3 apples and 8 apples. You add them together and you will get 11 apples, or 11 root 2. Some of the examples, let's take a wee look and see if we can work out what it is we have to do. They ask you to simplify root 3 times root 6. Root 3 times root 6. If we look up to, back up to this wee rule here, we could use that for this. Root 3 times root 6 is the same as root 18. Last day we were simplifying things like root 18. We're looking for two factors here. And when we multiply them together, they're going to give 18, obviously, and one of them is a square number. So that's the same as the square root of 9 times the square root of 2. That's the same as, that's a mistake, 3 times root 2, and that's the same then as 3 root 2. Again, they're exactly the same numbers. You put root 3 times root 6 into your calculator, you'll get out a number, it'll be a decimal. That's the same as the square root of 18. It's also the same as in 3 root 2. Second example, root 36 over root 3. We're going to use this one. Actually, we have 36 in there as well. That's going to be the same as 36 over 3. And that's going to be the same then as root 12. How do we split up our root 12? That's the same as root 4 times root 3. What have I done? I've looked for a number that's a factor of this is the square number. So I've got root 4, and that's the same then as 2 root 3. Let's see if we can get another couple of examples in. 5 root 3 times root 3, again quite an odd one. That's the same as 5 times root 3 times root 3. Back up to our top example here. Root 11 times root 11 gives us 11. Root a times root a gives us a. Root 3 times root 3 gives us 3. So it's going to be 5 times 3, and that gives us 15. Next one I do is root 12. Take away root 3. There's nothing up here with adding and subtracting unless the number is the same within the square root times the surds the same, so we can't do anything with this at the minute. However, we have a root 12 up here, and how did we change that? So I could write that as root 4 times root 3, take away root 3. So this bit here is the root 12 bit, and there's a root 3 in the question. That's the same as 2 root 3, take away root 3. 2 root 3, take away root 3. 2 of something, take away 1 of something, just gives me 1 of something. So the answer to that one then is going to be root 3. Another 3 or 4 examples and that will do us. Root 8 times root 5. From one of our laws, we hopefully realise that's the same as root 40. And I'm going to look then for a square number that's a factor of this. 4 times root 10. And that's the same as 2 multiplied by root 10. 2 plus root 5 all squared is the question, so I'll just do the first line of working out here. This is going to be a FOIL question, let's see where we can get from it. 2 times 2 is 4. Outer, 2 times root 5, it's just like a say what you see. It's 2 root 5. Inner, 2 times root 5. And then this last one we need to look at. Root 5 times root 5, that's again from our very first example. That actually just gives us the square root of 25, which is 5. So we join together things that we can. 4 plus 5 is 9. 2 root 5 and 2 root 5 plus 4 root 5. Root 8 times root 18. This one works out quite nicely for us. You'll probably sneak your calculator here and do 8 times 18, but 8 times 18 gives us 144. And the answer, of course, to that one then is just going to be 12. One last example, and we're done, I promise. Root 75, take away root 48. Again, we are going to look to try and simplify this one down. 75, big square number that's a factor, is going to be 25 times by root 3. Hopefully you see what I've done there. 75 is 3 times 25, so we have that. The 48, 16 goes into that. Root 16 times root 3. So let's tidy that up. Square root of 25 is 5 times root 3. That gives me 5 root 3. Take away 4 root 3. If you have 5 of something and you take away 4 of it, you just end up with 1 of it. So the answer to that then finally is going to be the square root of 3.